Peace and love, family. It's your girl Yinka, your favorite womb goddess. And if you are new to my page, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because I already know you're gonna love it here. So just go ahead and get comfortable. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell as well so you do not miss any of these content that I am posting. Y'all, I am new to the whole editing thing. I am new to all of that. Like y'all see some of my previous videos, they were just lives that I posted up. So I'm doing a 30-day challenge for myself, for my discipline and consistency, because we gotta hurry up and get monetized, okay? We gotta hurry up and get monetized. So I'm doing a 30-day content, so y'all bear with me as I figure out the YouTube guides and how we can get it straight on YouTube and things like that. But y'all know, if y'all see me on any other platform, I teach all the time about divine feminine energy, how to connect to it, how to heal your womb so that you can have an overall abundant life as a womb holder. How to use that energy, because our womb is more than just an incubator. Our womb is a portal of life. Our womb is our first brain as women. So we're going to start off with the intentions for this video. The intention of this video is, we talking about 5 signs that you are too masculine. So the intention of this video is for you to understand what is feminine energy, what is masculine energy, and if there is a balance. How do you know you're too masculine or too feminine and things of that nature? We're not gonna get into too feminine, that's gonna be a whole nother video, but today we're talking about how to identify if you are too masculine. All right, so let's go ahead and start with what is feminine energy, what is masculine energy. So masculine energy, for one, let's start back. Both of these things reside in both people. All people have masculine and feminine energy. A lot of people think that just because you are a woman, you are masculine, or you're feminine, and if you are a man, that you are masculine. And that is not the case, simply not the case. And we both have both. When it comes to men can be too masculine. Women can be too feminine. Like, it is no such thing as either or. There's a duality, and we need to learn to balance them both. So what is masculine energy? Masculine energy is simply, in simple terms, the act of doing, the act of producing. That is masculine energy. Going to do something is masculine energy. That's where we hear men are supposed to provide and protect. Those are acts of doing something. Those are going out to produce, going out to work, going out to being logical is masculine energy. Being able to be analytical is masculine energy. When we talk about being a business owner, being a go-getter, an entrepreneur as a woman, that is you tapping into your masculine energy, being able to provide. A lot of you guys are single mothers or were raised by single mothers, and this is why in our community we have a over masculine we are overly masculine as Black women in America, because a lot of us have been in our masculine energy for a long time, strictly just to survive. When it comes to, you providing for your children, when it comes, you have to go and work, and you have to go and do all these other things that require you to be in survival mode. That is masculine energy. Logic and production in simple terms. What is feminine energy? Feminine energy is the act of receiving. The act of receiving, to attract, to get things, for things to come to you, to nurture, to take care of. Those are feminine aspects. And again, we both have them. Men and women have both feminine and masculine energy. The problem is that a lot of people are unbalanced. A lot of our men are too masculine because they're taught not to feel emotion. They're taught not to show weakness, to show vulnerability. They're not tapped into their feminine energy, which is a problem. And then we have a lot of women who might be too feminine because they are always and I'm one of those women too feminine because it's a lot of times I am always in the ethers. I'm always in my creative state, to the point where it starts to become escapism. It starts to become me avoiding handling work or getting things done logically or business wise and things like that. I may be overly feminine a lot of times because I'm too much into my nurturing or too much in receiving and not giving enough. Okay, so That's in simple terms the difference between masculine and feminine energy. All right, so now to the reason why you are here. The intention of this video is to make you aware, because a lot of women again think that femininity is an aspect. We go to YouTube, we go to TikTok and things like that, these social media platforms, and we see like the soft girl era, or I want a life of the soft girl life. I want the princess treatment and things like that. And we associate that with being feminine. Yes, that is a part of being feminine, but a lot of that can be toxic if you do not understand that it's more than just receiving. There still has to be some work that's put in. Like you shouldn't be dependent. A lot of people have become codependent because they're too feminine. So the intention of this video is for you guys to be able to analyze, even though you might, the look, you might be carrying a feminine look, you might be doing a lot of feminine things. How do you know you are still too masculine? That's the intention of this video, and I hope that it helps. If it does, make sure that y'all like this video up so that the algorithms, the YouTube guys can get me in a rotation and for you on your For You pages. So sign number one that you are too masculine is that you do not ask for help. That's the first sign, y'all. And I have my notes here, so if y'all see me looking down, I'm making sure that I don't miss anything. But sign number one is that you do not know how to ask for help. Y'all ever, or are you one of those people who are like, I don't know how to ask for help. I don't know how women be asking men for money. I don't know how, like, if that is you, then you might be a little too masculine, sis. You might be a little too masculine, because again, feminine energy is receptive. Like, do you know how to receive help? Do you know how to receive support? That is a problem if you are a woman and you do not know how to receive help, because we are supposed to be helpmates, right? We're supposed to attract helpmates. And it does not necessarily mean a romantic partner, but in life in general. And I'm also going to give you guys, for every one of these that shows you for all of these things that I'm showing you that you are too masculine in, I'm also going to give you a solution to how to fix that. So yeah, you get a double whammy. Okay. So for one, if you do not know how to ask for help, you start by asking for help. Simple, right? Simple. And a lot of people do not know how to ask for help in relationships, especially their interpersonal relationships, because they don't want to be a burden. All of this is trauma induced. So the like I said, the intention of this is for you to be aware of, even though your aesthetic might be looking a little feminine, how do you know that you still are actually a little too masculine? And it starts with being able to actually know what's the difference, right? So if you do not know how to ask for help, this does not mean go and just ask for help, because obviously you're not a person who asks for help. What you would do is the simple things, letting people do things for you. It could be as simple as you calling a nanny for the weekend. It could be as simple as you starting to you doing Instacart or DoorDash or something like that. Those are you allowing people to serve you. Even more, if you go to the grocery store or you go somewhere where they bag your stuff up for you, asking somebody to help you take your stuff to the car. Asking somebody to help you take your stuff to the car, asking people to do stuff that like learning how to ask for help is like the rule number one to tap into your feminine energy, knowing how to ask for help, because you're going to need help. The more that, if you feel like you do not need help, or you feel like you don't want to be a burden to someone, that is something that you need to unpack in your spiritual journey. That is something you need to journal about. That's something you need to pray about. Why? Or go back to the time where, because you weren't always like that. I was having this conversation with some girl on my timeline, and she was saying like she's never asked for help. Like even as a kid, she always told her family not to buy her gifts and things like that. And she's like that now, like she rather do for people. And then also the last thing that she said in her comment was, you can't be disappointed by anybody if you don't ask them to do anything for you. And so I kindly come, because y'all know I'm a thought leader. I like to, rattle the boat. I like to just bring things to your attention so you can think about some things. So I told her, you know, that's inducing trauma. And a lot of Black women feel like that. Like, I'm not about to be asking for no help. I'm not about to be asking, you know, so if you want something done right, do it yourself. Like, that's the mentality that a lot of us grew up on. But when it comes to asking for help, that is trauma induced. You are not born independent. You literally are not born independent. You literally are born with people doing things for you. It's not possible for you to do shit on your own when you are a child, when you are an infant, when you are a newborn. You are born needing people. You are born expecting people to do certain things for you so that you can survive. You are born like that, and we are supposed to work together as a human race. We are supposed to work together. So you had to, that's a learned behavior for you to be the opposite, for you to feel like you don't need people, for you, that's a learned behavior that which typically comes from you being disappointed, you not getting things that you need. Like, even if people always bought you gifts that you didn't really want, it was because they didn't know who you were. They didn't know the things that you liked. So they didn't buy gifts that you liked. Because she was like, even as a child, I just told them that I told my parents all the time, you know, not to, sorry, y'all, the train is going by. If y'all can hear that, I apologize. I just moved to the country, so I'm still getting used to it to myself. But when it comes to, I need to figure out this time frame of when it comes by so I don't record during this time. But anyways, when it comes to your developmental stages, and I have a course on the stages of growth, and in that course I teach you on a spiritual level the same psychological developmental stages that it takes for you to be a healthy functioning adult. Those are the same principles that you pretty much use on your spiritual awakening or your spiritual rebirth, to start over, to be reborn. I have a course out on that. But for a lot of people, it's a lot. If you just go back and study the psychological development, the stages of growth, just Google it. In those stages, a lot of you guys from ages like 3 to 5, that's when your parents were, you know, suppressing your personality. If you were a talker, if you were somebody who asked a lot of questions, like, this is when your parents were telling you, stop asking all those questions, or, you know, do it just because I said so, not allowing you to be a critical thinker, which is a whole nother topic. But to bring it back to full circle, a lot of this behavior comes from trauma. A lot of this behavior comes from you not being fulfilled as a child, not getting the development skills that you need, not being nurtured in that area as a child. So that's why you're gonna always hear me talking about shadow work. You're gonna always hear me talking about reflecting and taking accountability and things of that nature, because that's what we do. Okay, we ain't nobody bullying us. Okay, we take responsibility for everything that goes on in our life, good, bad, or ugly. It's my fault. It's my fault. The art of ownership is a major key, but that's neither here nor there. Let's get back on topic. So number two, the second sign that you know that you are too masculine is if you do not have long-term relationships with women. Yep, I said it. If you do not have at least 1 or 2 solid women that you've been friends with for a long time, you probably a little too masculine, sis. And you the problem. It is not the power of ownership, the art of ownership. It is not the women. It is not that women are too catty. It's not that women are, you know, shady. It's not that women can't be trusted. It's you. You shady. You can't be trusted, my love. You know, you don't really have the best intentions when you have women in your circle. It's you. It's not them. They just mirroring you. That's just a reflection of you. If you do not have long-term, the reason why this is a sign that you are too masculine, it is because, and I used to be like this, y'all. Like, I'm not telling y'all this as if like I've just always been like this, but I could tell the stages of my life where I shifted and where I didn't. So growing up, I was super feminine, very super feminine. I mean, I was the last out of all the grandchildren to learn how to ride a bike. I think I learned how to ride a bike when I was like maybe 9 or 10. It might have been older than that, honestly. I think I was in like maybe 5th grade. when I learned how to ride a bike, when all of my other, like I literally had a wagon, like my cousins and my sisters, they had this bike, and I had a wagon. Like they used to ride their bike down the hill, and I had this wagon attached to their bike, this little red wagon, and I just used to ride. Like that is so sad, and it's not sad because it gives the depiction of my life right now. Like I am definitely a passenger princess. I do not like driving, but I've always been like that as a child. I was super feminine. I did not like when everybody else outside trying to play kickball and stuff like that. I'm trying to play mommy. I'm trying to play teacher. I'm trying to play something that does not require me to sweat or to scuff up my knees. Like I know my grandma, she used to not let me even do stuff like play outside with a lot of the kids. Even when I got into like, okay, well, I do want to play, I used to not be able to do a lot of stuff because my grandma like, don't you go scraping up your knees. Like my sister, on the other hand, she's a whole tomboy, so she don't care if she scrape up her knees. But me, let me go try and do something. You better get off them skates. You better get off there, whatever, because I don't want you to scrap yourself up, because I was super prissy. So I've always been super prissy as or feminine growing up. When I stopped being very feminine was when life hit. When I would say like from my senior year of high school up until 2020, I want to say 2016, 2017. Yeah. So from 2011 to 2017, those were the years where I was super hyper masculine. And that was because life was hitting. And it showed me how many people I could not depend on, especially going off to college. I didn't have that many men around. My grandfather was, he was diagnosed with dementia my junior year of high school. And during that time, of my junior year of high school, that was the masculine, energy that I had, that I consulted with. Like, so technically losing a father, and then going to school and not having any of my brothers, my cousins, or nothing. Like I never had to do any of those things. Like when I come home on break, like I would have my brothers who could wash my car. I would have, I never had to change a tire. I never had to do any of those things. I still ain't gonna do that. But those are the things that I didn't have. I lacked it. So I had a problem, or I got into this hyper masculine mode because I was in survival mode. Like I gotta do for self, I gotta provide for self. I don't have these. And then in that return, I started to date people that were not so masculine, so it triggered me to be even more masculine. So all of that plays a part, as a rumbling effect. But as I learned how to, it took me 2.5 years to get to where I am today, back to how I naturally was. It took me 2.5 years of shadow work, 2.5 years of assessing, like me figuring out who I am, remembering who I am, and taking back that ownership of who I am, and understanding my value. Like, get what the fuck is you talking about? Okay. What are you talking about? Like you ain't gonna do what for me? Like you not gonna open no doors, you're not gonna do this, you're not gonna do that. Like I'm with you for what? Like until I started to see, like, yeah, I've been bugging out. That's when I realized like those relationships were not for me, and I was the problem. That's the main key. I was the problem because I was allowing it. So back to the friendships, how do you know when you're in a how do I know that you're too masculine when you do not have long-term feminine women relationships? Is because a lot of times, like during those years, I had a lot of guy friends, and it was because I didn't like the fact that women were, where they would say like the catty, or too emotional and things like that. And to this day I'm still like that. So I know it's not it wasn't anything like me just being triggered by it. That's still my personality. It's just the way I went about it, because I do have long-term friends. All of my friendships are 10-year plus. But when it comes to like the average woman, a lot of y'all are not critical thinkers. A lot of y'all are codependent. A lot of y'all are too emotional. Like you're so emotional that you let your emotions triumph logic, like to the point where you are doing shit that don't even make sense, but you like, oh, the heart wants what the heart wants. Like, girl, We're not doing that. But, and I understand that first. So I'm not saying have a whole heap of friends. Like, I'm not saying that because I just feel like that's fake. I don't trust people who got a whole lot of friends. But when it comes to solid relationships, you ain't got to have all the friends, but you need at least one. If you don't have at least 1 to 2 solid friendships that you could say lasted for years, it ain't got to be 10 years, but you ain't got no friendships that lasted longer than 5 years as a grown-ass adult, that's a red flag to me. That's a red flag. And it's not just that you don't have good communication skills and all those other things as an adult. It's because you are still too masculine in general. You don't know how to coexist with other feminine energy. You do not know how to be nurtured in a platonic way because you only feel like being nurtured with a man or being nurtured in a relationship romantically is the only way that you can be soft and vulnerable. You don't know how to do that with platonic relationships. So that's a masculine thing. Number three. So if you are the third sign that you are too masculine is if you do not trust your gut. If you do not trust your intuition, if you do not have good discernment, you are too masculine. You are too masculine. Men or masculine energy, we talk about masculine energy, but typically men are more masculine. So when I say men, I'm talking about the masculine energy. Most men who are in their masculine energy, who are, in their sacred masculine, they are doers. They don't really, a lot of that stuff they do, it makes sense to them. It may make sense to them, but it doesn't have any long-term value. That's why men are usually good at starting businesses or building businesses, because emotion has nothing to do with business. It has everything to do with logic and numbers and things like that. So it has nothing to do with emotion. But a lot of time men fail in relationships is because they are too, like when you in a relationship with a guy and you having the conversation of, I don't like how you make me feel about this, and this. And his point is like, okay, so how do we get to a solution? Like he don't really care about, the emotions that you're feeling because of this. He's like more so of, okay, so how do you fix this? And as women being more tapped into our emotions, we can tell when something is going on with them. We can tell when their emotions aren't right, even if they don't verbally say it. We have that intuition. We have that discernment because we feel through life. We have emotional experiences, so we feel through life where they trying to think their way through life. So I'm not gonna say they don't make good partners because that wouldn't be true. But a lot of times when you see men who do, especially our men, and by our I mean Black men, the reason why a lot of Black American men struggle with that is because a lot of them are taught not to tap into their emotions, that emotion is a feminine trait, that you're not supposed to be crying, you're not supposed to be telling how you feel and things of that nature. So they do not connect with that at all. If you do not trust your gut feeling, if you do not have good intuition, if you are somebody who is easily manipulated, it's because you're thinking too logically and you're not thinking with your intuition. And that is one of your greatest superpowers as a woman, is being able to have women's intuition. So if you are somebody, what does this look like? If you are somebody who is constantly in relationships where somebody is always cheating on you, you got friendships, somebody is always stabbing you in the back, somebody is always using you, you are always being stepped over because you don't have any boundaries, or you don't even see red flags a mile away, like you having the same experiences over and over and over again, your gut is always talking to you. Your intuition is always talking to you. Your higher self is always talking to you. So if you are not tapped in to your spiritual self, to your Ori, to your divine team, your spiritual team, you gonna miss those clues, or you just gonna not trust yourself. You gonna be like, oh, I felt something, but I don't have proof. I don't have proof. Like, I feel like he might be cheating, but I don't got proof, so I ain't gonna say nothing. Those are masculine things. Men tell you that you tripping. Men tell you that you're doing too much, or you just making up shit. Men tell you that because that's how they compartmentalize shit. That's how they express stuff. And most of the time they doing it to manipulate you anyway, because they know you be right. They just be like, oh, you ain't got no proof, so you can't say it's law. As women, we don't need proof. If you are tapped into I do not need proof. I will ghost you today and don't even tell you why. And you will be for years trying to figure out what you did, but you know what you did. So you don't have to ask why. You know exactly what you did. I don't have to explain anything. I don't have to have no conversation about it because I trust my intuition. that is a feminine trait. So if you are somebody like, I gotta have proof of this, I gotta have proof of that, that means you do not trust your gut. And that is a masculine trait. You might be too masculine. How do you fix that? How do you fix that? I always tell, I was telling my little sister, she was asking me, how I trust myself, because she always asked me for readings. And I was just like, girl, I've taught all of my sisters, except for one, how to read tarot or how to trust yourself. I taught two of my sisters how to read tarot, but on their spiritual journey, like I'm typically the person that all my sisters come to as far as like their spiritual advice as well. So I try to tell them how to be self-sufficient, even though I am accessible to you. How do you serve yourself? And I'm like that with anybody. It's not just family or whatever. It's like that with my friends. It's like that with my clients. It's like that with my students. I want you to not depend on me. I want you to be self-sustaining. So one of the ways that I tell people, how do you start to trust your intuition, is by doing what your gut tell you to do the first time. Not trying to, if you feel like somebody doing something shady, even if they are not, if your gut is telling you they're doing something shady, move accordingly. Don't worry about, oh, I need proof before I cut them off. I need proof before I say something. Do it. If your gut says something is off, trust it the first time. It don't matter if it's right or wrong. Trust it the first time, because once you start trusting it, then you start trusting your decisions. You start trusting, like a lot of y'all are in bad relationships because, or you constantly have bad relationships, is because you are constantly avoiding or ignoring your gut telling you what's up. So how do you strengthen that? Is by just listening to it. The first time you feel like something is off, move accordingly. Move accordingly. It's nothing to process. It's nothing like, I don't know, it was just a dream. If something tells you that something is off, trust it. If you feel like somebody on your page sneak this to you, block them, unfollow them. If you feel like your friend doing something malicious to you, because my thing is, your gut is never going to lie to you. Your Ori is never going to lead you astray. And your Ori is your higher self. Your Ori is never going to lead you astray. Your Ori is never going to, make you feel something that's not there. So even if somebody has not done something as of yet, your gut is not going to tell you that something is off with them. We have to learn how to, and we talked about this, I did a whole training on this, but we have to learn how to learn from observation instead of learning from pain. I forget what scripture this is, but there's a scripture that says something along those lines, like, those of you who do not learn from other people's mistakes, you're going to learn through pain. Why? Because you didn't have the sense enough to say, hey, I see that, I don't really like that, and I'm not going to do anything to make that happen to me. You didn't do that. You didn't have the common sense enough to do that. So Spirit is like, okay, now I got to teach you in real time. Now you have to experience the pain. Now you have to experience the heartbreak or whatever it is, because you did not analyze that situation. Like, a lot of y'all not even utilizing the experiences that are around you, like how your relationship, your parental relationships, like your family, your friends, like just your experiences. A lot of y'all don't look at those and learn from them. A lot of y'all look at them and y'all repeat them in your own way. You repeat those exact same things. So we have to learn how to not take our pain or take our lessons in pain and take our lessons as lessons. Like, you do not have to be in pain to learn a lesson. Like, everybody always like, you have bad experiences, or you constantly are having bad karma and things like that. It's because you are getting experiences right in front of you and you're doing the exact same thing they're doing. Like, make it make sense. But anywho's, how do you start to trust your gut? Is simply to start listening to your gut and operating off of the first time. The first time you feel something is uncomfortable, move. You don't have to wait until they actually do some shit. You don't have to actually wait until, you got proof of something. Just do it because your gut said that something is off. Because if everything was peachy keen, why would if me and my sister got a good relationship, why would I feel like she doing something malicious towards me if we have a good relationship and we're connected? Why would I feel like such and such is doing something to harm me or something that's sneaky? Why would I feel like that if they were not? Even if they actually have not done anything yet, or if it's just a little sense of envy, you should be able to tell when something is wrong with the people that you are close to in your interpersonal circle. All right, so number four, the fourth sign that you are too masculine is if you are a perfectionist. If you are a perfectionist, you are too masculine. You're too masculine because, again, masculine energy is logic. Masculine energy is being analytical. So when you are doing something or starting something and it's to the point where, because again, we need masculine energy, we have the masculine energy, so you need to have it, you need the ability to be able to go and execute. But when you are to a point where you can't execute because you are over analyzing something, you using the term perfectionist, but it's really just you procrastinating. We keep it real. We have real conversations here, okay? We have real conversations over here, okay? So let's be real. It's not perfectionism, it's procrastination. Because how can you perfect something that you have never done? What does perfect look like if you've never accomplished that? So you're not waiting until it's perfect because you don't know what perfect looks like. It could have been perfect when you first did the draft. It could have been perfect because what is your intentions on putting it out? What is your intentions of doing this thing? If you're trying to start a business, start it. You try, I gotta wait until I get this. I gotta wait until I get this, and then I can launch it, and then I can do that. All of that don't mean nothing. Your website is not gonna make you no money. I mean, it could, it makes it easier, but your website don't make you no money. Your logos don't make you no money. Your font sizes don't make you no money. None of that makes you no money. Having the best equipment don't give you no money. The quality of the content that you put out makes you the money. How valuable you are in the situation makes you the money, or whatever your goal is. So when we say we are being perfectionists, what we're really saying is we're being procrastinators. And that's a masculine trait, not procrastination, but wanting to be overly perfect. That's a masculine trait. How do we fix this? We fix this by just doing things like, y'all, I know this kind of sounds like common sense, or, it sounds that simple, but but it's really just doing stuff. If you are a content creator, post it. Once you finish going through it, watch one retake. If all the major things, first of all, doing things with intention helps with this. Doing things with intention helps with this. If everything that you do, you set the intention before you do it, that'll help. That'll help. Because let's say, for instance, right before I go live, or if you want to go live, or if you want to go, post something, post reels or whatever. The intention of this reel that I am posting is to bring awareness to, hormonal dysfunction. The intention of the video that I'm going live about is XYZ. If I already have an intention before I put it up, or before I start a thing, it doesn't matter how perfect it is. When I go and do the retake, when I go and look at the replay of it, did I accomplish the goal? Did I tell you about, did I give you awareness? Did I give you tips on how to help? Did I do this, that, and the third? If those are checked off, post it. If those are checked off, post it. If you are creating a website, your intention of the website is to make it easier for your clients to shop with you. If you got a major product, if your products are up there, publish the website. Publish the website and critique as you go. If you got a link tree up, all you got to do is post that direct link to the link tree, and then people won't even have to worry about looking at your website. They'll just go to that link and be able to check out what the thing. So you don't have to actually have a fully your website all glammed up, all what. Yes, that matters, but it should not stunt you from starting things or publishing things or executing out on things. It should not stunt you because you're waiting for it to be perfect, because there's no such thing. All right. And number 5, lastly, but most importantly, this is the one that might ruffle y'all feathers, and I'm okay with that. But the last sign, the 5th sign that you are too masculine is if you struggle with being submissive. I said it. Y'all hate that word. And we're going to have a whole video on what's submissive. Let me know down in the comments If y'all want to talk about what submissiveness is it overrated? Who is supposed to be submissive and who not? Like, let me know that in the comments if y'all want to talk about what being submissive is, because we can do a whole video on that. But how is this too masculine? Why is this too masculine? Why is this not a good thing? It is because being submissive is nurturing. That's it. That's all. Like, these labels be too much because y'all get y'all definitions off of social media. But if y'all just go back to the origin of these words, if y'all just go back to, the main reason and the main intention of these words, y'all will realize that a lot of these words have social media differences, like social media meanings. And you have to be able to detach from a social media definition to reality. Okay. And submission is been used and abused, for one. But when it comes to submission, being submissive is a nurturing feminine trait. And I'm not saying to be submissive to any and everybody, because that's not the thing. But what I am saying is being submissive is serving. Being submissive is nurturing. If you struggle with doing that, like, I'm not going to be feminine, or I can't be submissive to any and everybody, that's obvious, right? But at the same time, being feminine should not be something that is determined by your counterparts. It should not be something that is determined by your external environment. I am feminine because I am feminine, and I do not be in places long that make me that force me into survival. If I feel like I have, even as a business owner, and I'm going to talk about that. I talk about that in my Rebirth Society. Shout out to the Rebirth Society. If you are not in the Rebirth Society, then what are you doing? What are you doing? We have daily trainings. Every single day we do a training. Well, 5 to 6 days out of the week, we do trainings on spirituality. I help you make tinctures and things of that nature. When it comes to herbal healing and things of that nature, we do all types of tinctures, oils, Yoni Steam blends, any type of blends, any type of holistic healing. We do trainings on those. We also do spiritual development, and also business coaching as well. So 5 to 6 days out of the week, y'all get to see me go live, and we talk about important things when it comes to being a boss in this side of the arena, being a boss on the holistic side of things. So anywho, back to being submissive. When we learn how to serve, when we learn how to, I am a serving person. So it does not matter if you are a good person, if you are somebody who's appreciative of it, it doesn't really matter about that. That does not dictate how I love. That does not dictate how I serve. That does not dictate how I talk to you, how I feel about you. Does that mean I'm gonna, if I don't like the energy, if it's not reciprocated, and if I don't like the energy, does that mean I need to spend more time there? Absolutely not. But you other people should not be the determining factor on if you're going to be submissive or if you are going to be feminine. Other people should not have that say. I'm feminine because I'm feminine. I'm feminine because I'm feminine. If I'm dating somebody and I feel like I'm getting into I'm sitting back and I'm tapping back into my old habits, then I'm gonna spend less time with you. I'm gonna not want to spend time with you because I don't desire to be in my masculine energy around masculine energy. Okay. Like that's what being submissive is. I'm always going to be submissive. I'm submissive because I have to submit to God every single day. So regardless of what I feel and what I want, I have to submit to the divine every single day. So I don't struggle with being submissive to my counterparts. I don't struggle with being submissive to my friends. I don't struggle being submissive to children. I can serve and nurture. That does not mean, I feel like a lot of people, they confuse being submissive with somebody having authority over you. Nobody has authority over me. Nobody. Not even God. God don't have authority over me because God gives us free will. So if God, the Almighty, the source, the divine, whoever you pray to, if they don't even have authority over you, how is it that y'all are having a power struggle with humans? Having a power struggle with regular people having authority over you? Nobody should. have any authority over you. Not your parents, not your employer, not your governor, not your police officers, your local officers and shit like that, law enforcement. None of them have authority over you, or they shouldn't have authority over you. Nobody has authority over me. Nobody. And that's why I don't struggle with being submissive, because I can still operate in a place of genuinely serving, genuinely helping somebody and nurturing somebody else without feeling like, you know, that's too much like being a slave. That's too much like, you know, don't nobody tell me what to do. I know for a fact nobody tells me what to do. I know for a fact nobody has authority over me. So I do not have a problem serving people without, you know, having that power struggle. I don't have that. I'm confident in who I am. So I can serve without obligation of feeling like a servant, like feeling like, you know, I am a servant, but, you know, feeling like, you know, a peasant, I should say. Okay. So let me know if this video was helpful for you guys. Thank y'all so much for vibing with me. I do appreciate y'all for getting to the end. If you like this video, make sure that y'all like this up so we can get into the algorithm. Okay, we new to this, but we true to serving. We true to showing up for the people. Okay, if y'all follow me on any other platforms, at my snack shop on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and here on YouTube as well. Make sure that you guys are following me on all other platforms as well. But this is where we're gonna be dominantly at over here on YouTube. So thank y'all so much for watching this video. Make sure y'all hit the notification bell as well so that y'all don't miss out on this content. I appreciate you guys. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.